And welcome back to Myths, Monsters, and Mullets. I am your host, John Methenkamp. If you have a paranormal encounter and you'd like to be on the show, you can email me at mythsandmullets@gmail.com. And when I say paranormal, I mean anything. Cryptids, UFOs, ghosts, anything weird. I want to hear it. mythsandmullets@gmail.com. Once again, I'd like to thank everybody for all the support you've been giving me over the last couple months. If you haven't yet, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button, like, comment, share. That's the best way we can grow. Make sure you're checking out the description in this video. You'll find a list of all my favorite podcasts: Nevermore Hollows, Drunken Cryptids, Lodge Tales, Chumming with the Spirits, and so much more. Give them a follow. I'm sure you'll like them. Tonight's episode is a good one. We have Scream Queen Mel Heflin on the show. I contacted her a few weeks back on Facebook, and come to find out she does have some paranormal encounters. So she agreed to come on the show and talk about her film career and her paranormal encounters. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Out in the woods, shadows creep slow. Footprints deep where no man should go. Cold winds howl through hollers and brooks. Whispers of Bigfoot in the way it looks. Myths, monsters, and bullets in the night. Under a pale moon, strange glowing light. Truth out there like a blade it cuts. Myths, monsters, and bullets run amok.
Welcome back to Myths, Monsters, and Mullets. I am your host, John Methenkamp. On tonight's show, we have actress, writer, producer, model, scream queen, all-around badass, Mel Heflin. How are you tonight?
I'm wonderful. How are you doing, John?
Great, especially with you here. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Oh gosh. I guess I would say that I'm a doer. I have been in the film industry for around 15 years, maybe more. I like to think that I've done it all at this point, but I'm always hungry for more. I might be greedy in that way. And I just love what I do. I like to say that I love making cool stuff with cool people.
Yeah, I notice on Facebook and stuff, you seem to be very active, let's put it that way, whether it's modeling or movies or whatever. I was introduced to you through the movie Prehistoric Predators, and I love it. I really do. It was silly. It was a lot of fun, but that movie was written all by AI, right?
Yeah, it was very meta. It was, I want to say that's probably one of the first of its kind. It was very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite part of the movie, though, is right in the middle. Like, you basically make fun of the movie.
Yeah.
You have a line where you're like, this
It makes
looks
fun of
just
it.
like a movie I was watching last week where there's somebody who's just walking through the woods. And
And the stock footage. I bring
yeah,
that up a few times.
yeah, the 16 different planes they use in the opening of the movie. Oh, I loved it. So, so everything that I've seen you in has been horror. Do you do anything else?
Um, Very, very little outside of horror. I do a little bit of sci-fi. I've done a little bit of drama, just to say, been there, done that. And not that it wasn't fun, but it's just the blood and the guts and the creatures. There's just something about it.
Yeah,
Keeps me coming back.
right. And I love horror. And here lately, I don't know what it is, but I tend to gravitate more towards like the independent movies just because they're, I don't know, it just seems like they try to do actual horror instead
Yeah.
of, trying to push an agenda or, whatever, the hot button topic there is. It's horror. And a lot of times with the independent horror, it's a lot of, practical effects and things like that. And I just love it. I love it. What would you say was your favorite movie to be in?
My favorite movie that I've done?
Mhm.
Oh gosh. I usually answer this one with it's always the one that I'm working on right now because I just fall in love with the people and the process and everything we're doing at that moment. And I couldn't imagine it being better. Every single time I'm back on set, I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Like everybody working towards the same goal. Um, I'm really excited to be back on set of Bloody Bones though, because it's so interesting because Bloody Bones was my first film that I did with Astronomic Studios. And I'm just, I fell into their little film family and I couldn't be happier about it. Um, we did Bloody Bones and we didn't finish filming the kills and all the blood and everything. But then in between, they had me come back for the movie Pig Shit and very exciting stuff there. And then I came back again for Ouija Slumber Party, which was a collaboration between Astronomic and SRS. And now gosh, it's got to be less than 2 weeks now. It is. In less than 2 weeks, I will be on set of Bloody Bones again. And it's like coming full circle. I'm very excited for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Another one that I saw you in was Carousel.
Oh, Carousel 3.
Yeah.
I provided the voice of Detective Duck.
Okay. That was another one. I was like, man, she's listed, but I don't see
That
her.
was my Detective Duck as my voice.
Okay.
That cute little duck. Oh my God, we had so much fun with that duck.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense now. Yeah. So you also do modeling?
hmm all the time, all the time. I have a shoot coming up next week with my friend Dawn, and I've been getting a lot of shoot offers lately. Uh, summertime, everybody wants to break out the camera. I'm going to be underwater for another shoot next month. Gosh, I could shoot every single day if I would allow it on my calendar. People are good to me. People want to put me in front of their camera, so I'm just going to keep going.
Right. Right. Um, I don't remember where I read it. Um, do you consider yourself a scream queen?
So I didn't used to, only because when I first started out in the business, um, it was one of those things like when can I start buying myself Scream Queen jewelry and stuff? And all the other girls were like, we don't do that. We don't do that. When the fans do it, we're honored, but we don't do that. And, I would say it was around my 100th IMDb credit that I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. And I
Yeah.
started
Own it.
buying the jewelry and, because if not now, when? Um, and, there may be people out there that are like, no, no, no. But at this point, enough news outlets and fans have, you know, presented me with that title that I'm like, I'm gonna own this. And I'm so proud of it. I couldn't be more proud of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, from what I've seen and what I've watched, I could see that. I would say that. Um,
It's what I've strived for my whole life, to be able to be like, yes, I'm a scream queen.
So how long? I mean, when did you first think, I want to be an actress?
Oh gosh. It was young. It was young. When I was little, it was never really for someone like me. It was like, oh, those are trust fund kid things. They go in the theater and get to do all that. And I still, I don't know. I still kind of aspired, like if it ever comes to me or whatever. So when I was model scouted at, I was 13 years old and I was model scouted in the mall. Um, a guy gave my mom his card, and my mom's like, and I was like, come on, go on. And I actually got signed with an agency for a little bit, and I walked some runways and made some cash, and parents convinced me to put that towards college. That was a whole thing that happened.
Damn parents.
I know. So now I have a very expensive napkin that is my art degree. And circling back around, I always thought, like, okay, if I can model and if I can walk runways, I'm going to eventually find a way to turn this into that. And with every like JCPenney's catalog shoot or whatever that I did, it brought me like one step closer. And then one day it was a model friend of mine that we had modeled together at meet and greets and stuff. She's like, do you want to be in a horror movie? And I was like, yes. She was like, come audition. I was like, I'm coming. I'm on my way now. They're like, hold on now. And yeah, my first movie, Starlit Rain. We worked on it together, and that was a fun ride. I've got DVDs of that I'm going to be selling at Gross Fest. I don't know if DVDs are currently available. I used to keep like a nice little cohesive list, and then things become unavailable and then reavailable, and I don't know where things are.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't even know where the remote to my DVD player is.
I get it.
With all the streaming services, and I spend a lot of time on Tubi, which I'm pretty
Nice.
sure I know that's where I saw you the first time. So
I have a lot on there. Have you looked me up, Mel Heflin on Tubi?
I haven't went through like just searched your name. No, I
It's
haven't
been
done
a
that.
while. I'm gonna silence my computer when I do this. It's been a while since I've seen what all is on there. I know there's probably more than there was a couple of months ago.
And Tubi is really good about like, if I watch a couple of your movies, of making sure that you see, like, their algorithm, I think is pretty good at making sure that the same stuff comes back up. So yeah.
All right. There's quite a few on here. We've got Mrs. Claus, Grim Reaper 3, Dead Woman's Hollow, Return to Splatter Farm. A movie called Beyond the Chamber of Terror comes up, but I don't think I was in that one. It Kills, Camp Blood 7, Axe Grinder 3, Tales from the Graveyard, Prehistoric Predators, Bride of the Werewolf, Halloween Horror Tales, and there's some other stuff mixed in. And Never Go Back, that's one of my dramas that I've worked on. And that may be it. But that's quite a few.
Yeah. And if it rains over Memorial Day weekend and I can't go camping, I guess I got a movie marathon I can watch.
You're going to be there a while.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So, you already said what your first film was. And you've said what you're working on now.
I'm working on a lot of stuff outside of acting right now.
Yeah.
I just got cast on a couple of projects, but I don't like to count chickens.
Right.
So you never know what could happen. And I haven't even officially been announced yet. But aside from that, I've been For weeks now, weeks, I have been writing a children's book
Oh,
and illustrating it by hand.
oh, nice.
I know this is one of the least exciting ones. Paintings that I could do, see the little footprints.
Oh, yeah.
um,
It's going to be like
but
scary stories for kids.
not quite. It is called Goodnight Film Set,
Okay.
and it's just saying goodnight to all the little things on a film set. Just it's a take on Goodnight Moon in the same style.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
It's just something that called to me.
Right. And I noticed when I went to your IMDb, you have like, it was over 100 credits on there, from everything from acting to writing to producing to, there was so much on there. It's like,
There's a lot.
there's no way I can go through all this in a week.
And that's just the ones that got to IMDb. There's so many others. I was going through. I've been feeling a little nostalgic lately because, well, not that long ago, I want to say last November. Have you heard of the movie Profane Exhibit?
Not. I'll write it
Okay,
down
so
then.
that movie I filmed with Michael Maggot back in it was either 2010 or 2011. And the movie just came out this past November.
Really?
Yeah, I believe it was. IMDb has a different listing as to when it came out. But I've been feeling nostalgic since that, and I've just been going through and looking. I counted today how many movies are in my scrapped folder. Like, oh, this movie got scrapped for whatever reason. I have 94
Holy
that I
cow.
worked on that just so the ones on IMDb mostly are the ones that made it.
Right.
Mostly.
I guess I never thought about, that there would be that many movies that people do that just never see the light of day.
So many. So many. There for a long time when I used to say it's like betting on horses. Like you never know which one's going to be the ones that come out. Like you just can't tell. And I really strived for a long time to get with the directors that have this reputation of bringing stuff out. And gosh, it was rough for a while because for the longest time I had worked on so many movies. I'm sure I had worked on nearly 100 or 100-ish, maybe 80, 90, and only about 30 were out.
Wow.
And it's rough. Like I was thinking about 2011 earlier. Like I worked on so many films and I showed up to so many projects because I was constantly touring. I was doing either between one and sometimes three photo shoots a day on my way to go work on a film set, and then I would work on a film for a few days, and then I would go back to traveling and maybe throw a World War II reenactment in there or something, and then model my way, do a little tour back down to where I was living. And I worked on so many films that way. And aside from Profane Exhibit, I think that was the only one that came out that I had worked on that whole year.
Oh, wow. Speaking of traveling, you lived in Japan for a while, right?
I did.
What brought you to Japan?
My husband's military.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense why you would just choose Japan.
Yeah. There was a lot of stuff going on. I don't know if you saw the documentary about my mom's murder, but we didn't feel safe in the States just because craziness. And it just did me some good to get away for a few years and all that.
Wow. We can cut this if you want. Do you
No,
want to
it's fine.
talk about that?
I can talk about it a little bit. You don't need to cut it.
Okay. So what is this documentary?
Um, it's actually on my IMDb. I let them put that on there. It's under Self. It's called Married to Evil, the TV series, and it is, gosh, season 2, episode 2. Home is where the nightmare is. And I have not myself watched it. I lived it.
Right.
They were very empathetic, Arrow Media was, and brought me in, and they just had me talk about, they asked me some questions and just let me struggle to talk about remembering who my mom was.
Right. Let's change the subject.
Yeah.
And I might actually cut that.
If you want to, it
I
doesn't
don't want
matter.
to. I don't want to make you cry for one thing.
No, I'm okay.
Okay.
Lots of therapy.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, when I'm looking on Facebook and all this stuff is popping up with you in it. When do you have time to eat?
Oh gosh. You know, it's funny you say that because this week I put on my goal list to stop having work lunches because I would be sitting here editing audio and I would like pause it for 1 sec, like take a spoonful, crunch, 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 and then put my earbuds back in, like, okay, back to because I love what I do, so I'm constantly doing it. And gosh, what's a hobby?
Actually, I was going
What's a
to ask
hobby?
that is, do you have any hobbies? But I don't think you would have time for any hobbies.
I mean, I turn all my hobbies into work somehow. Like, I mean, I went to school for art, and I'm just now like diving back into it and discovering my style and all that. And I'm like, yeah, this is fun. All right, I'm gonna illustrate an entire children's book. Let's go. I was like, yeah, that'll only take me like a week. 2.5 months later, I'm like maybe halfway done.
So you said you were editing audio or editing video or
I
something?
do. People are always asking me about like, oh, I've got a voice for audio, and it's like, how are your editing skills? How do you like listening to your own voice? Oh, you want to be an audiobook narrator? Great. Free books. It's amazing. It's so much fun to like perform the story. But then you like, let's say it's an 8-hour book. If it's about an 8-hour book, it takes me between voicing and editing, it takes well over 40 hours, like total. Because I mean, for me, my epiglottis back here, every now and then it'll make a little clicking noise, and I edit out every single one. If you're listening to an audiobook by me, I want it to be smooth. I don't want you to hear my mouth clicking together. So I'm like taking a big swish of water and then like making so that my lips aren't sticking to my teeth or anything weird. And I want it to sound really, really like as good as it can without like oh, my R sounded slightly off on that. Let me go back like for time's sake, like I have to put this thing out there.
Right.
Um like it just takes so long. And when people ask me about it, I'm like, because they want to do it, I'm like, yeah, completely. I highly recommend it, but know what you're getting into. Like it's
Yeah.
not just like you don't just voice it into a microphone, no big deal, send it off and they edit it. Like no, that's
So yeah, because I've seen those, get paid to, you know, for audiobooks and stuff. I didn't realize that you had to do your own editing because
yes.
that's the worst part of being a
It's
podcaster is
exhausting.
the editing.
Yes.
This
And
part's fun. I love this part.
yes, exactly. I love the performance. I love the reading. It's just painful because it's so easy to like that's probably how I started illustrating like, oh, I could use a break. Let me go illustrate. Let me go do this. And then, just not that I'm not even a procrastinator, but it's hard to just here we go, in front of the computer.
Yeah.
I am very lucky with the authors that I'm hooked up with. I voiced the entire Coven Cove series, And those were really fun. Larissa she's a magical girl, and she ends up coming to this school of magic, and just she finds her place among all of the shapeshifters and werewolves, and it's really beautiful. And right now, just out now is the second book on the Vampire Hunter's Diaries. So the main character is Maria, but she goes undercover with different names. She goes undercover with the name that I primarily know her as is Raven. So that's why I was playing, because she goes through all these different names, and she is a vampire hunter in training, but she's never met a vampire.
So what was the name of the book?
The Vampire Hunter's Diaries.
Okay. Oh, I see. Oh, okay. Now it's clicking.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to edit myself on this one.
So I'll be doing, hopefully he'll keep me around for that whole series too. I just finished book 2 and it's available now.
Awesome. So you have a podcast as well.
I do.
Supernatural lore or creatures and lore. Yeah.
It's actually really sad because I have this little notebook here. Like, these are our final episodes. We've been doing this podcast together, I want to say like around 2015, 2016-ish when we started. And just we've gone over all these creatures and all these different things, and you know, the eventual we were in our most recent episode was like in season 8, and it's like, oh, they repeat monsters pretty much from here on out. So we're just going through and like, what have we missed?
Yeah. So it's based on the series Supernatural.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites.
I just found that today, so I haven't had a chance to listen to it. but I will, because that's what I do at work. Because that's all I do is listen to podcasts. And
I get a little crazy in that.
Really?
I do, because I go a little hard, because there's been times where people are like, "Oh no, you're interpreting that part of the Bible wrong," and it's like I'm reading it literally, and they're like, "No, that's not what it says. That's you have to look at what they meant." It's like I'm reading it literally. We're talking about the Whore of Babylon right now, and I'm describing it from, you know, the Book of Revelations, and people are like, "Oh no, you're supposed to read this book instead," and it gets all muddy. And sometimes things are word for word the same. Sometimes things are entirely different. Sometimes we're looking at, you know, Christian lore. Sometimes we're looking at Judaism. Sometimes we're looking at, you know, Muslim lore and all these different things. And they all sort of describe these creatures and these things differently. Like Leviathan, in some situations, it matches directly and it leads you to believe they're talking about just whales. In other situations, it's something else entirely. So it's what I find more fascinating than the lore itself is how some people react to reading things objectively. It just gets a little frustrating, like, no, don't take what they said, take what they meant. And it's like,
I think
I've never been a person to read between lines.
I think that's a discussion that I have an episode called Paranormal Bible. And, you know, there's a lot of people who interpret, you know, different passages in different ways, just like you're saying.
Right.
And I think that's where a lot of the contention comes in.
Yes.
Is because there is a lot of imagery and metaphors. And
yes,
sometimes you can't take them literally, but sometimes you have to take them literally and metaphorically.
Yes, especially when you're talking about lore. People get real mad when I start talking Old Testament and lot salt and stuff. They're like, no, you can't read from that one. And it's like, but it's still the Bible.
Right. 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 Didn't know we were going to go that direction, but it's fine because this is how my podcast works. We go down a rabbit trail. It's fine. So
I'm good at the rabbit trails.
that's good. That's good. We're going to get along just fine then. So while I was looking up your podcast, I come across on Spotify a song that you have on there. Would you like to talk about that?
Sure. I actually last week I got an itch to write a new song.
Wait a minute. That song that I was listening to today is only a week old.
No. No, that came out last year.
Oh, okay. So you've got another one that you're working on.
And it's still like horror because horror is my life, but not really. I kind of mixed two of my favorite things, which is like World War II era and horror.
I wonder why this is because like several of my guests, we get into the paranormal, and there's a lot of people in the paranormal realm that have they're like World War II buffs.
I love World War II.
Yeah, I wonder what that's about.
It's interesting, isn't it? There's a lot of fascination with that time because I don't know. I guess
Maybe
it's really easy because it's it was written history.
right, but World War II, you have the Nazis and the occult, and
Yeah,
the
wild
technology that some people say was alien technology.
yeah,
And it was a scary time for the entire world.
yeah.
So
There's so much going on in just those 4 years. There's so much. There's like you said, the occult, and they were like trying to summon Cthulhu, like actual stuff like that. They were looking for the lost city of Atlantis. Like what? What?
yeah, I mean,
There's things I can't wrap my head around.
yeah, they were trying to find the Ark of the Covenant to try to harness its power, and I mean there's just so many things that it was more than just a war, So yeah, I guess that does kind of explain if you're into the paranormal, there's a lot there to unpack from World War II that ties into the paranormal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, speaking of the paranormal, if you're on my show, my guests expect that you probably have some kind of paranormal encounters or some connection to the paranormal.
Oh, for sure. I lived in Japan,
Yeah. Well, you want to talk about this a little bit?
Speaking of World War II, speaking of Japan, now I can't honestly say for sure because, you live on base, you hear things, there's rumors. I hope the military doesn't come after me for talking about this.
Well,
But
don't get
these
us
are
in
just
trouble.
rumors. These are just rumors.
Okay.
So, when we lived in Japan, we lived in Sasebo, Nagasaki. And there were two areas of the base. There was the main part of the base where all the ships were, and then about 25-ish minutes away, there was a place called Hario. And I lived in Hario, which was its own pain in the ass, but regardless. I heard rumors, like at one point, me and some of the wives were talking, and we all like spooky things. We're like, yeah, let's do like a ghost hunt. Like, all right, girls, I've got equipment. And then everybody kind of was like, we're being for real. Like I don't think they thought that I was like, okay, yeah, like actually. But I heard a rumor that the base, the Hario base, where the military housing was built, where I lived, I don't know if this is true. The rumor goes
It's just
it
all
used to be,
speculation at this point.
so they say, it used to be a World War II burial ground for the victims of Nagasaki.
Oh wow.
And when the base built extra housing out there, apparently they dug them up and moved them elsewhere. I don't know. I don't know. But I will say that whenever my husband would deploy, there was at one point I woke up, and I used to be a very early riser. I woke up at like 5 a.m. one day and he was already gone for work, and I walked into my kitchen to get myself a cup of coffee. All my cabinets were open, every single one. The drawers were all pulled out. And when you're living in a scenario when things like that is happening, you have to tell yourself, like, no, no. So I called my husband and I was like, why would you do this to me? And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, honey. Yeah, no, no. After we moved and like I could breathe freely again, he was like, yeah, you know that wasn't me. I'm like, I know, but thank you for claim. And I'll tell you
He,
what,
he
I
was
was
just
really
trying to be the good husband and, try to
right.
appease you.
It was real unnerving when things like that would happen, and he was deployed. And it's like my 2-year-old wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So is that the only
yeah,
thing that happened there on
no.
that base?
Um, he'll never tell me what happened, but there was one time my husband was in the kitchen and he yelled, "Mel!" And I was in the bathroom and I was like, "What?" And he came around the corner and he looked pale white. And my husband is more along the lines of a skeptic. Even still, having seen things ourselves. And oh gosh, I'm just glad I don't live there anymore. That like those okay, in Japanese housing there's like closets, right? Tall closets, and then at the very top there's like little cabinets, like another little cabinet. I was ready for a grudge ghost to come out of those one time. I was ready because we had those and I didn't like it.
You had Grudge Ghost, or you just had those cabinets?
I had those cabinets. I was ready for the
Oh,
grudge ghost. I was ready for it. After the Mukade, which are little really terrifying centipedes. But I had my spirit box, right? I had my spirit box, and you know, I did speak Japanese a lot better than I do now. Um, and I would turn it on and just try to figure out what it wanted. And I never really got anything of merit, but it's just radio waves.
right, right. Was that the only place that you had paranormal encounters? Was on that base?
I mean, there's been a couple of other things. I used to ghost hunt. Um, I went to the St. Augustine Lighthouse one time with my friend Steve and my husband. This was many years ago. Uh, I want to say it was like 2011, 2012-ish. And we were down in the cellar. We've been recently to the St. Augustine Lighthouse. It doesn't even look like the same place. It's all rebuilt. It's just, they said that it was restored. It just doesn't look the same. So it was this building, and then you go down this spiral staircase and then down a hallway. And at the end of this hallway was a chair. And they said it was Pete's chair. I don't remember the story of Pete, but during the tour, they were like, everybody likes to be like, Pete, I'm sitting in your chair, ha ha ha, and then you get a reaction out of him. So we were like, my husband being skeptic was like, oh yeah, we're gonna see if Pete's real. So everybody else is in the lighthouse because they say if you look up at the lighthouse, you see something looking at you. I don't see that well. My mind will play tricks on me, and then I will be like, oh yeah, I saw it. So we figured it was better to sit in Pete's chair. You know, I'm going to be like, we were like, Pete, we're going to steal your chair. You want to come home with us? You know, just silly things. And we're doing this for a little bit. We're not like really like poking the bear, but you know, we're not like being too mean or anything, but we're like, come on, Pete, come on. And it was pretty much time to leave. Nothing. Whatever. So the only way down to this tunnel is down the spiral staircase, down the hallway. There's nothing else. There's no other doors. There's nothing. So we're meandering to leave. We're just like, whatever, you know, like it was still pretty cool to be here, blah, 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 you know, just on our way out. Oh, gosh. I'll never forget this. We heard stomp, 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 and then wind whooshed past us.
Like it was coming down the steps?
Like somebody ran through the tunnel past us. Like my hair moved.
Holy
and
cow.
I felt the wind. We were all just like it sounded like somebody was running at us and then through us.
Well, it was probably Pete. You asked him if he wanted to go home with you. It's like, don't leave without me. I'm coming.
The guys they were like, that was so real. And then like an hour later, they were like, that didn't really happen.
What? I mean, how else would they explain it though?
I was there. I heard what I heard. I saw what I saw. Like, they looked afraid. They looked just as afraid as me.
Do you think that maybe it was, you know, if they admit that happened, then they have to admit that they were scared.
Yeah, totally. Being who I am, I like to be scared. Like, yeah.
Right. Did you say that you did like a pilot or something for like a ghost hunting show?
I worked on 2 different pilots. One was, oh gosh, this is a rabbit hole. So I was really excited. My mom always really loved ghost hunting. She loved ghost hunters and all that stuff. She loved it. So I was jumping for joy when I met this lady. What is her real name? I don't know if I ever found out. So there was this cool event, and I met this lady and her husband. And I remember my friend Johnny Sullivan was there. And we were all, sort of palling around, doing little ghost hunts. And she taught us that if you can get the spirit box to say a cuss word, then it's definitely not radio waves because the FCC doesn't allow that. It's like, okay, that makes sense. And she had this ghost box, like cussing. And then there was at one point we were introducing ourselves. And then I remember it got to me and the spirit box said Mel. And I was like, that's weird. And then it started repeating all of our names in the room. Now, I don't know what kind of tricks she had. But anywho, I was entirely impressed. Like, okay, you've got some real stuff going on. And then we went down. Her husband, Johnny, and me, and a couple of other people. She was like throwing this paranormal convention slash ghost hunt slash pilot thing. Uh, Johnny lit me on fire for a dramatic reenactment. It was super cool. I do my own stunts.
What? How do you set yourself on fire?
Oh, he's a stunt man. He's done it before.
I you know, that's like one of the worst ways I can think to die. Um, my balls ain't that big. No.
uh, yeah, so we did this paranormal reenactment and this investigation, and everything seemed like on the level and good. We filmed stuff, but she did say that she needed me to pretend that I was her daughter for the show.
Eh.
So she told me just go ahead and get used to calling me mom. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. You know, I'm as an actress that's been an actress for a very long time. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes whatever. And then our first like real episode was supposed to be in Tombstone, Arizona. And this is when red flags started going off because at one point she's telling me, can you cover your own plane ticket and we'll pay you back when we get there? I'm like, girl, I don't got money like that. And then she's like, oh, can we put the rental car in your name? Like, we can drive. Can we put the rental car in your name? I'm like, Virginia to Arizona? Like, girl, I'm not even old enough for a rental car. And then, like, all these, like, and, like, my radar is going off at this point. You know, like, they try to get models scammed all the time. Or aspiring model scammed, yeah. And then she was like, oh, can we take your car? I'm like, my car is not going to make it to Arizona. Come on now. I drove a beater. But, you know, that thing had like 200,000 miles on it. That was a beater. And then just all these little things. And she's like, fine, I'll just fly myself. You're just not going to be in this episode. And then she was online promoting, oh, with my real daughter. And I'm like, I thought you wanted everybody in the community to be fooled for the sake of the show that I was your real daughter. So she goes out to Tombstone, Arizona, and there's news articles about what happened. Apparently, she scammed everybody. Apparently, she took everybody's money, and she still went there, but all of the accommodations, all of the food, all of the ghost hunts, all these things that she was advertising were never real things. That she had never contacted anybody. And like, why would you even show your face? Like, one, why would you do that? But then why would you go there and show your face like you didn't do anything wrong? Very bizarre. Turns out she was wanted by the freaking FBI.
You're wanted by the FBI and you're going to start a TV show?
Right. And that's why I'm like, I don't even know. I don't even know this lady's real name.
Wow.
And it's like, oh, but then, you know, this is happening and this is going down. And I had booked other work at that point. I was working a film or something. All these people started texting me, your mom, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, whoa, whoa. This was for the show. And they're like, oh. I'm like, I mean, you know, look at my last name. Come on.
Right. But I mean, if you had a different last name and all that, I mean, how was she going to explain that you were her daughter?
Movie magic? I don't know. And that's above my pay grade.
Wow.
It was just crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah. Wow. Who knows what else she had planned other than scamming, you know?
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Makes you wonder if she didn't have like that spirit box or whatever programmed or a way to program it or something.
And now after all that went down, I'm like, I guess
Especially if
that
she
was an
made
easy
like,
thing to fake.
yeah, especially if she made a big deal about, well, if it cusses, then you know it's real.
Right. But
And then all of a
I have
sudden it
done
starts
that a couple
cussing.
of times in my own hunts, and that's sort of like the telltale thing for me.
Right.
So I don't know. Or maybe they
Wow.
just cuss more on the radio these days.
Maybe you escaped a serial killer.
You know?
Never
It
know.
wouldn't be the first time.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that.
No.
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't.
Oh my God. Okay, so let's hear about a serial killer.
I was like 17 years old, and I was sitting outside my best friend's house smoking a cigarette. I was a bad kid. And this really cute boy walks up and asks me for one. And I'm like, "Hi, I'm Mel." And he goes, "I'm Pi." And he had all these tattoos. I like tattoos. And I made it, and I was like, "Pie? Like the food?" Like, haha. And he's like, "Yeah." And like, he was like normal and charming. And he just talked to me for a minute. And then, I later that day, I went back to DC. I had a runway show, and I was staying at a photographer's house because, no, I had to have been 18. I had to have been 18 at the time. I was staying at the photographer's house so that we could review photos, and then I could go to a different shoot the next morning. And my best friend called me. It was after the runway show. We were in the middle of reviewing photos, and she was like, "You know that guy you were talking to yesterday outside of my house?" And I was like, "Yeah, hi." Like, "Yeah, did he ask about me?" And she's like, "He's on the news. He was on the run because he killed his girlfriend and her brother." And I was like, "What?
Holy cow.
I can pick him, huh?"
Oh, wow.
That was,
That,
yeah. I never forgot, like, wow, yikes.
was his real name Pi?
I never found out what his real name was.
Oh, okay.
And
I
that's
just,
probably why. And that's
right.
probably like all false. But he was like really cute and really charming and made a lot of eye contact.
Isn't that a sign of a psychopath if they make too much eye contact?
I used to think that, and then I don't know. I make a lot of eye contact because I don't know where else to look.
Okay. Um, try not to make eye contact now. So then you were you said there was a second pilot that you did.
Yes, and that was with my girlfriend Brandy and her boyfriend at the time. And it was basically, okay, you're gonna laugh. But there's science to this, okay? There's science. There's
I like
studies.
science.
It's called Naked Paranormal.
Actual naked.
Yeah. There's science, okay? So ghosts like pretty girls because women and, well, children will get more reaction out of a spirit or a spirit box or something because of their energy. But the second most likely is a pretty girl. And then, you know, a naked pretty girl? Like, what ghost isn't gonna, like, hi? And then on top of that, you are more likely to like feel little cold changes and
I
there's
like it.
science, okay? There's science.
I'm just saying we need to reboot this.
It was just me and Brandy being silly mostly, but I think her house was haunted. There's something there. There was a weird shadow It was a whole thing. We had a
You
lot of fun.
you did see something?
Gosh, it's been so long. I just remember that there was a shape of the shadow that was really weird.
Wow. And to all my listeners, when I do the investigation at the Randolph County Infirmary, I'm not doing it naked. I'm not. I'm not gonna, you know,
There's
put my
science,
fans
John.
through that.
There's science. You should try it.
Okay. Mel said I have to do it naked. Let me ask my wife about
Do it
this.
for the fans.
It's for science. It's for
There's
science.
science.
YouTube, don't take down my video. It's for science.
There's studies and stuff.
I heard it from Mel. That's all I needed to hear. That was good enough for me. Oh, wow. Holy cow. We've been doing this for almost an hour.
I'm easy to talk to, I've been told.
Apparently, when you're having fun, time flies. Science.
Science.
It'd probably be like 2 hours if we'd done this naked. It's science.
Science.
Okay, but this is a kid's show, or this is supposed to be PG. Let's.
I don't know why people put up with me.
Well, I mean, you are easy to talk to, so that's probably why.
Oh, remember that thing I wanted to show you?
Oh yeah. Is that like from like a costume? Like part of it?
These are my costume. How do I get the glare off there?
It's not too bad. It's just it's part of your costume.
Yes, there.
Oh wow. It's kind of like what they do with like baseball cards when they have part of the uniform in there.
Yes, this is my my tarot card, my costume tarot cards. So this right here is from Mad Angel's Blood Red Beach. This is from Ouija's Summer Party. That's actually my bloodstained pasty.
Oh wow.
And on the bottom here, that's my sweater from Pig Shit.
And how much are these?
I think so I don't think you can buy them outright, but I think they're about $30 on the tarotcards.com website.
Huh.
Isn't that fun? Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
I'm
those are
so
pretty
excited
cool.
over these. I think there's a couple
There's only
of
25 of them?
left. They're almost all gone, but there's
Oh, wow.
a couple left.
Wow. Might have to look into getting one of those. Can go back.
I think
on my
they're really
wall.
cool. So these have traveled like this movie was shot in New York and these two were in North Carolina. But it's just so fun that these have been like all over the place with me.
Right. That's pretty awesome, actually.
Little piece of cinematic history.
Right. So, yeah, I feel like we could keep going, but I usually lose my audience at about an hour. So,
That's fair.
So why don't you go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you?
So I am across the internet. I'm really easy to find at MELHEFLIN. Mel Heflin. Sometimes people get the F and the L mixed up. It's not Helfin, it's Heflin.
Did I say it wrong earlier? I didn't think I did.
No, you're fine. It gets spelled like people get it wrong all the time. It gets spelled wrong on covers of magazines. Like it's totally understandable.
Yeah. So I know I found you on Facebook, on your fan site.
Yeah, I've got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky. Though, does anybody use Blue Sky?
I don't even know what Blue Sky is.
Gosh, what else social media? I don't know. I have a link tree where I've got, current Indiegogos going, and that's easily found on my Instagram.
Do anything on YouTube?
Not really.
No. Okay.
No, but I just finished this week writing for my new show that is going to be on YouTube on the Kings of Horror channel. It hasn't been announced yet, but there's
Should I
stuff
cut that?
coming. No, you're fine.
Okay.
I have a premiere date in June for my new show, but it hasn't technically been announced.
This will air after that, actually.
Oh, okay, cool.
So, yeah, when we get all the links, send them over to me, and we'll make sure it goes in the description.
Awesome.
So, well, Mel, I really do appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Maybe we can do it again sometime.
Yeah.
You are very easy to talk to.
Thank you.
And if you have a paranormal encounter you'd like to share, you can email me at mythsandmullets@gmail.com. Until next time, talk to you later. Gotta go. And that's it for tonight. I'd like to thank Mel Heflin for coming on the show. And if you have a paranormal encounter, or maybe you're a horror actress that wants to come on the show, you can email me at mythsandmullets@gmail.com. Good night, everyone.
Shadow in the pines lurking in the dusky air. Bigfoot stomps through the woods like he don't care. Lights in the sky flash green then blue. Aliens descending with a secret or two. Whispers in the breeze, cold fingers down your spine. Ghosts in the graveyard, twisting through time. Eyes wide open in the dead of night. The myths and monsters giving one hell of a fright. Oh, Myths, Monsters, and Mullets podcast, spinning wild tales of a future and a past. Hosted by John Methenkamp's fiery soul. He takes us where the wild unknown flows. Oh, Myths, Monsters, and Mullets podcast, spinning wild tales of a future and a past. Hosted by John Methenkamp's fiery soul. He takes us where the wild unknown flows. Down by the bayou, you hear a raspy growl. Swamp gas glowing as the coyotes howl. A UFO zipping just above the trees, grabbing hold of wonder like a southern summer breeze. Some call it crazy, others call it a lie. But listen real close as the truth passes by. The lines are blurry, the story's bold. John Methenkamp spins them into southern gold. Apparitions dancing in the smoky haze. Legends of the deep south told in hollers and bays. Bigfoot runs free, chasing shadow dreams. Aliens keep secrets like moonlight beams. Down by the bayou, you hear a raspy growl. Swamp gas glowing as the coyotes howl. A UFO zipping just above the trees, grabbing hold of wonder like a southern summer breeze.